Okay, so in this reading, I want to look at Jennie from Blackpink, and lazy rumors have been following Girly Bop around for the last 10 years, and I think they've kind of amped up. I mentioned this in a previous reading like a year ago. Anyway, unimportant. I want to look at, like, does she know people call her lazy? Does she care? Like, I'm so curious about that, especially because it seems like she's trying to have, like, a solo career, and I feel like that wouldn't make her look good. You know what I mean? Is she trying and, like, she's being misunderstood? I'm so curious. So that's what we're going to do in today's reading. With that being said, everything I say is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only, and with peace and love. And let's go. Okay, Miss Jennie. Heartbreak, okay. Oh no, the sun in the reverse, that's like a lack of happiness. Sometimes it's like being in the dark. This is like fighting, petty fighting. Sometimes it's just like chaos in general. Already we're off to not a favorable start. This is contemplation. Sometimes it's being offered something and not really liking what you're getting. Knight of Swords, that's communication. It seems almost like media play though. That's immediately what I thought of. And then Cups. Three's a crowd. Sometimes it's like merriment, but sometimes it's like someone's in my business, low-key. Okay, anyway, sorry. Off the bat, the first card's not super favorable. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, well, let's start from the beginning. So this is heartbreak. This is unhappiness, chaos, etc. And so I feel like she hates when these rumors crop up. I don't feel like she's delusional in the sense of like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't think she gets that, but she hates when she gets, I feel like, and I think if you are a multi-stan or you follow a lot of groups, you watch a lot of K-pop content, you'll notice that Jennie, especially for how long she's been in the industry, is not like consistent in her energy and, you know, clean lines and being able to sing a long time when you just compare her to anybody of any generation at all. But from Jennie's standpoint, she's like, everyone does this. So many idols do this. Why am I the one that's being targeted? That's kind of what it's giving. But I think if you follow a lot of K-pop groups, it's like, I don't think that's true, Jennie. Actually, maybe. I'm not sure. I do follow a lot of groups, but I pay less attention to, like, I just like the vibes, you know? That's what I'm here for. Anyway, so she thinks that she's being singled out or targeted, or there's something very unfair about this narrative that's been following her. But she's not completely delusional in the sense of like, no, I work so hard, I always hit. She knows that she slacks, but she's like, everyone does it. Or I don't know. But I feel like maybe she doesn't have the clearest awareness of how it looks when she does it. Maybe other people will be kind of lazy, but it doesn't seem as dramatic. There's something about that. She's frustrated. It's like a deep frustration. It's like resentment too. It's like, what the hell? Again? I think that frustration is kind of making the problem worse. But this is confusing to me because this reads as media play, and this reads as like three's a crowd, and it's almost like somebody is like amplifying or fanning the flames. Someone's like fanning the flames and trying to make that narrative louder and make people dislike her more. And I'm not sure why. I don't know if there's a lot of like videos. Because, I mean, like, at this big age of 2025, I think everyone should be more aware of, like, bots. If there's a lot of, like, accounts that have, like, fan cams of Jennie from, like, concerts, and it, like, actively points out how lazy she's being, more so than other artists, it's like Jennie's being targeted. It's like somebody is trying to make her look worse than she is, and they're exploiting, like, a weakness that she has. So, fewer people are as upset about this as you would think. But it seems like a lot of people are, and most people are like, this is just what she does. It's annoying, whatever. But it's like someone is fanning the flames is what I'm getting. So I guess that makes sense why she's like resentful and frustrated. It's not unfounded because I think if you pay that much, like, girl, like, shake something. She feels unfairly targeted, and I think somebody's fanning the flames, but I also understand why people are mad. It makes sense. It makes sense. Temperance is a lack of balance. Oh, no. Temperance is balance. It's like giving and taking. Oh, this is her like, I'm trying to manage my energy. I don't... I say this so... I like Jennie. I like Jennie. I'm not an anti. I root for the girly bop. I do. There's something about her where it's like... And I think maybe it's like we really don't understand either her psychology or her physiology with like how much more difficult this is for her than the average person. Because I kind of, maybe that's what it is. But it's sort of like she's like, I'm trying to balance my energy. I'm trying to manage myself. Like, I think being an idol and I think touring and being that famous has a certain pressure that an average person maybe doesn't 100% feel on a daily basis. And there's something about Jennie having lower thresholds or like windows of tolerance than the average person. So she's always trying to, she might have like Aries in her chart or something, because I see her like compressing a lot, like almost like if I was like my honest self, people would like hate me almost. Well, okay. What I mean is like she's really trying very hard to balance herself, which comes off as laziness. And you can make that argument. This is from her standpoint. You could make the argument as a fan that, yeah, that's like hella lazy. Like she doesn't complete the movements. Sometimes she just kind of stands there on stage. For her, it's like, I'm managing my energy. I'm trying to balance things. I'm trying to balance all of the things that I'm doing, and I think I'm doing an okay job. It's almost like if you were in my shoes, you would be doing the exact same thing. That's her mindset. I think there is a resentment, and I think Jennie can sometimes have a streak of, what's the word? Kind of like, when you do the opposite of somebody says just because they told you to do something. I don't know what that word is, but Jennie sometimes has that streak in her where she's like contrarian just for the sake of it. This is in the reverse position, which is a lack of valor. Oh, she knows this is hurting her maybe credibility in the industry, her vibe, I don't know. She knows this is hurting how she is viewed by fans and also by people in the industry. Like, she knows it's not a good look. Two of Swords in the reverse position is like going into something blind, not having all of the information. Sometimes it's like something subconscious that you're unaware of. Creation, starting something new, moving on or away from something towards something better, it seems. And this is like no longer fighting it. Yeah, I don't know when the lazy allegation started with Jennie, to be honest. Was it kind of early on? It seems like it's been around for a very long time, but I don't know if it was from the very get-go or not. But it seems almost like she has tried to not come off as lazy. I also think if you've ever paid attention to her interviews, she often talks about Blackpink working very hard. She'll bring that up in a lot of her interviews. I think Jennie does think that she works very hard, and I think she thinks that the average person, the average K-pop fan or whoever doesn't quite get it. And I don't know if Jennie's ever really lived like a normal, average, regular person's life. So I feel like she's a little out of touch. I'm going to say it. I'm going to be bold and brave and I'm going to say it. I think she's out of touch. So it's like, you have no idea how hard most people are working. Like, you don't have it necessarily objectively more difficult. You know what I mean? Especially compared to other K-pop groups, whatever. I don't think her version of reality entirely matches up with maybe the average person's, but I also feel like not everybody understands how much stress this specifically feels to her. And I do feel like she experiences life with just more stress. I think she carries it differently. I think she experiences it differently. I think things feel a bit more overwhelming or heavy for her in a way that they don't for other people. I think she underreacts but feels quite a lot. You know what I mean? So she comes off almost as like cool or as like unbothered, but she really is often freaking out and like trying to manage her anxiety. It's very interesting. But this is like moving away from creation, from something new, but towards something better. Oh, this this is almost like, why bother? That's what it's giving. People are gonna say I'm lazy whether I'm lazy or not. She also, Lisa gets her own fair share of criticism, mostly in terms of her not singing a lot, but Lisa almost every freaking time is giving so much energy on stage, and this is an awareness that Jennie has of like, I just don't have the energy that Lisa has. I don't have the same physiology. I don't have the same, maybe it's like passion for that. I don't know what it is, but there's something about her, like, even if I wanted to give the same consistency physically that Lisa does, I can't. Let's say, I don't think Jennie's thinking as directly comparing herself to Lisa, but that sort of a thing. She's like, I simply can't give, like, what people are expecting of me. I also think Jennie is, and to be fair, it is very classic K-pop to dance, but, like, if you think about, like, Lana Del Rey, she doesn't have, or Adele, for example. Adele doesn't have, like, a ton of, like, dance numbers. Her thing is her voice, and so, like, she kind of, like, she'll walk around, she's very, like, funny, Adele, but she's not doing, like, crazy numbers, and that's what Jennie more so wants. She doesn't really like, it's not that she doesn't like dancing, and, like, she can dance, but she doesn't want to do it the whole time in the way K-pop artistry tends to, where it's movement all the time, and they rarely are, like, sitting. I think that's why her album, aside from Like Jennie and the other one, the one where she was wearing red and there were a lot of cars, the rest of her album was a lot slower and kind of mellow, and it was very vibey and moody. And if you just pay attention to Jennie, you kind of get the vibe where she's more like low energy, kind of just vibing. I think she wants to move away from that. And I wouldn't be surprised in her next albums if it's a little bit more, like, thoughtful, or the music that she releases. I think because she comes from K-pop and, like, that's what she's done for most of her career, there's always an expectation that she's supposed to have a very high energy song. But by and large, Jennie kind of likes, like, not mellow, like boring, but just like there's a different type of tempo to it. You know what I mean? At any rate, she's like frustrated. She sees the criticism. She's like, I don't know what you want me to do about it. Because the thing is, I really believe her now that I've read the energy. I really believe that. She's like, I get tired. I lose breath more easily than other people. She said that before. I believe that. And I feel like it's something she has tried to work on in the past. I don't think she's tried working on it in recent times, to be honest. But I think in the past, she really tried to work on it and it just wouldn't click. And I think it is a frustration where it's like a genuine limitation of hers. But I think people would also be like, well, why are you a K-pop idol? But it's like, if you already are one, I guess just fucking stay one. It frustrates her. It bothers her. There's nothing she can do about it. She knows it makes her look bad. I do genuinely kind of feel like she doesn't want to be on tour. Also, I've said this many times in many readings. But I think she enjoys performing. I think she enjoys performing her songs, but she doesn't like Blackpink in general. And so for Jennie, it's sort of like, I'm doing something I don't 100% want to be doing, and it makes me very tired, and I'm always getting backlash. So, like, I'm trying my best. And I understand I don't look good, but, like, this is it. This is what I can give you. That's kind of it. Like, she knows it doesn't look good, but she's like, I'm past the point of no return. I've been getting this feedback forever. I've tried working on it. I think she gave up. I don't think she's tried to fix this issue in like at least a year, maybe 2. I don't know if there is something that could help her or not. I'm not sure. From her vantage point, she's like, this is who I am, but maybe that's just like a limiting belief. I couldn't tell you. I also couldn't tell you why she loses breath more easily than other people. I think some people are like, she doesn't work out enough, she doesn't have enough muscle. I'm really not sure. Maybe she has asthma, I don't know, but like, there's something with her. I don't think this will damage her reputation so terribly if she can segue it when she is working so much more on like her personal stuff and less associated with Blackpink. I don't think that'll damage her as much, especially because she can prove that she like can do this type of stuff. She just like doesn't. I don't know. Jennie's very funny. She's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Keep hating me, I guess.